knew you were this gracious in Dallas, even though I'd never been here before. But anyway, you know what? I tell you what, Joe Bob, if I could have house lights up and dim the spot, I don't really care for the spotlight because I can't see the people. Okay? Let's have a house lights up. Okay? We don't need a spot. You know who I am. All right? Hey, look at you all. Isn't that great? That's why, you know, I really like to have a good look at everybody. Is Kenny Davis here? Kenny Davis is not here. You know what? I was trying to have a nap this afternoon, and the operator said, of course, we're not allowed to put any telephone calls through to you, but a man just arrived in this town. I think he's been here before, entertaining, but they said, Mr. Kenny Davis. And I said, Kenny Davis? I said, oh, the Kenny Davis Roadshow. Has anybody ever seen the Kenny Davis Roadshow? Well, he's opening up on Monday night at the Daddy's Money. You ever heard of that place in Old Town? He's opening up there, and he's a great entertainer, I must say. I'll be seeing him later on this weekend, and hopefully I'll be able to stay for his opening on Monday night. I don't know. Anyway, an awful lot of times that I get asked to do sort of lectures at different colleges and universities on the actor, the professional actor. Joe Bob talked about the film that I have, which you will see later. I have been in this business since 1946. And in somebody whistled? I don't look that old. I worked the first 7 years of my life in New York City. And then in 1952, I went back to Canada for Christmas, and I stopped off at on the way back to New York, I stopped off at the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. 2 hours later, I walked out of there with about 6 weeks' work lined up, because the only work I had in New York was 10 weeks' work starting in the middle of February at Palm Beach, which was sort of winter stock, what we call winter stock for Paul Crabtree. I obviously did not do that because a bird in the hand, as the old saying, you know, is worth two in the bush. So I immediately went down to New York, packed my stuff, went back to Toronto, and started working there. I wasn't back there any longer than a week, then I was booked up for the next 6 months. I worked there for 9 years, and during that 9 years I did 4,000 radio shows, 400 live and later on taped television shows. But of course I had done radio and live television shows when television started in New York. As a matter of fact, I actually cannot remember the exact year that television started in New York. I think it was 1949. But it was all live. There was no tape. They used very little film. The only time they used film was when they very late at night, you know. I mean, we still had the late movie and the late movie and the late movie and so on. Then they go on to the early movie. And but anyway, also in Toronto, I did the very first science fiction show that I have ever done, which was called Space Command. That was also done live. It was in the very early days. Television started in Canada in November 1952. 1953, in March, I started to do a program called Space Command. And I tell you what, when our rockets went off, they just fizzled. Because they didn't have the techniques, they didn't have the special effects, they didn't have anything. But you know what? If it was a good story, people believed it. Anyway, I did a lot of work, still going on, and I was rehearsing some other play for television when a director came up to me and he said, "Are you Jimmy Doohan?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well," he said, "I hear that you flew during the war." And I said, "Yes, I did." He said, "Well," he says, "I've got this story called Flight into Danger." And he said, "I would like very much if you would play the lead in that." And he started to tell me about it. Well, I was very excited about the story. As a matter of fact, who knows the name of Arthur Haley here? The man who wrote Airport, Hotel, The Money Changers. What else?
Oh.
Wheels, right? This story you are going to see tonight was his very first attempt at a screenplay, but it was done for television. And let me tell you, I think you will all agree after you have seen it, even though it's 22 years old, and the quality is not that good, and it may break, I hope not, but it may break in the middle, because it hasn't been preserved yet. I think you will find that you're hanging onto your seats, right? Even though it's an old airplane, it's not a 747, you know, it's not an F-1, it's not a Phantom jet, or any of those things. I think you'll be hanging onto your seat because character is what makes a good story. And that's something that they've forgotten about today. What they're doing right now is putting lots of shooting in, and lots of killing in, and lots of crashes, and big smash-ups here and there, lots of chases. We all like the chase, but you know, it's, as a matter of fact, I like the chase too, but I preferred it when it was horses chasing each other. So anyway, that's what you're going to see, and I think that's going to be fun. And so in the meantime, until we're ready for that, I would like to find out just what questions you have that I may be able to answer. All right? Yes, sir. What was the funniest experience that happened to me during the filming of Star Trek? Well, it wasn't really too funny because I had to avoid it. It's when people try to find out what you wear under your kilt.
How did you approach the character of Scott when you received the role? As far as, obviously, you know quite a lot about him, and he's your baby. But how did you approach your character of Scott?
Well, strangely enough, the character of Scotty is, in a way, very similar to what I am, anyway, because I have, all my life, have been interested in doing accents. I mean, we'll get rid of the accent part. I've always been interested in doing accents. I can remember somewhere before I was 10, hearing my father say to my mother, how does he know how to do a Cockney accent? No, I don't know myself. It's just that I pick it up, and as a matter of fact, people say, how many accents can you do? I say, I don't know, because usually if I can hear it, I can do it. And fortunately, in 4,000 radio shows, I have been able to practice them, right? And many other shows too. As a matter of fact, the very first time I ever did a Scotsman in Hollywood was on the Hazel. Anybody remember the Hazel series? And that was a delightful little show. So it's very, when it comes down to the scientific part, I am a science fiction fan, but I'm more basically a science fan. I love science, anything to do with science. I read up on everything to do with science, and did long before I ever met Star Trek. Right? Just excuse me, I haven't finished, I think. That's quite all right. I don't mind the interruption now, chap. Not at all. So, it really is, I think Star Trek was looking to find a chief engineer. And I think when I arrived there and did about 5 different accents for them, they found him, and lucky for me, they picked the Scottish accent. And I say lucky for me because I love the Scottish accent. I think Scotsmen are beautiful people, and I really love to do it. And I think that even though when Scotsmen find out that I am not Scottish, that I'm really Irish, they're not really disappointed, because I think I do the accent well, and they take it as a compliment. Okay? All right, thank you. Yes?
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I've asked a lot of the other cast members this, and this has,
Did any of them answer the question?
they always answer them.
Oh, they always answered it. We don't know what's coming, folks.
Okay, do you or do you not believe in UFOs?
Do I or do I not believe in UFOs? Well, I tell you what, I'm old enough never to deny anything. All right? Because I've seen some strange things happen in the world. So I don't deny anything. I personally have never seen a UFO. DeForest Kelley and his wife, Carolyn, have seen one. But I haven't. But far be it from me to say that's not Buck Rogers, right? Because I grew up on Buck Rogers.